Hi there, I'm glad you're here. Some days I look around and everything technically looks fine. Nothing's tipped over, nothing's filthy, but it still feels like too much. It's not about mess. It's about noise, that background hum of unfinished tasks, random clutter, and things I keep moving but never really dealing with. I used to think I just needed more motivation, more bins, a better routine. But the truth is I didn't need to try harder. I needed things to feel lighter. And what made the biggest difference? Not one big clean out, but a handful of small, quiet habits that actually fit into real days. The kind where you're tired, distracted, or just done. So in this video, I'm sharing 12 of those habits, the ones that helped me feel like my home supports me again, instead of constantly asking for more. If your space has been feeling heavy lately, maybe one of these is the reset you didn't know you needed. Number 1, let's start with the kind of clutter that doesn't look like clutter, but still makes your home feel unsettled. You know those little things that float around a phone charger, here, a random hair tie on the coffee table, the tape that never seems to go back where it came from. They're not messes in the traditional sense, but they linger, they shift around, and they create this low-level tension in your space. It's not that you have too much stuff, it's that too many things don't have a home. What's helped me truly is getting specific. Every single item in my house now has a home I can point to. Not a general area like it goes in the kitchen, but something like second drawer on the left in a little zip bag. Chargers, batteries, hair clips, scissors, all the little nomads now have a place to belong. And I didn't go out to buy new organizers. I used leftover boxes, cut old cartons into dividers, and just labeled things clearly. Once I did this, I stopped putting things down just for now, because now I knew where they go. And even better, so did everyone else. That's when my house started staying tidy longer. Not because I cleaned more, but because things didn't float aimlessly anymore. I'll be sharing 5 no-spend ways to organize your entryway in tomorrow's video, simple shifts that make coming home feel calmer, not chaotic. Don't miss it. Next, let's talk about a small 10-minute ritual I use when I'm overwhelmed, a reset that never fails to lift a bit of the weight. There are days when I look around and nothing is terribly messy, but everything still feels off. Like the air in the room is cluttered. Nothing dramatic, just a quiet sense of, ugh, this space feels heavy. That's when I turn to what I call the 10 and 10 reset 10 minutes. 10 things, no drama. I set a timer, grab a bag or a box, whatever's nearby, and choose 10 things to remove from my space. They don't have to be big. A dried out pen, a half-burned candle. I'm never lighting again. A shirt I always skip over. I don't organize them. I don't second guess. I just let them go. I usually do this when I feel mentally stuck, like I need to move, but can't commit to something big. 10 items is small enough not to trigger resistance, but it's still enough to shift the energy in a room. And more often than not, once I start, I keep going. This reset isn't about cleaning, it's about clearing. It's a way to remind yourself I can create space, even when I don't feel fully on top of things. And that tiny bit of momentum, it matters. Next, let's talk about a habit that saves space before clutter even begins by rethinking what we bring home in the first place. You know that little buzz when you see something cute in a shop or online and immediately imagine how perfect it would be in your life? I've fallen for that so many times. Not out of recklessness, but because I was tired or overwhelmed, and that one pretty thing felt like it might fix something. A dress that made me feel more put together. A new mug that felt like a reset. A decorative basket that looked like organization, even if I didn't know what I'd put in it. Honestly, I've bought baskets before I had anything to store, just vibes and hope. Over time, those small joys became clutter. Cute, well-styled clutter that didn't actually fit how I live day to day. I once bought a blush pink cardigan because it was on sale and looked lovely on the hanger, but every time I tried it on, it didn't sit right. Didn't go with anything and just reminded me that I wasn't that version of myself. You know, the kind of woman who drinks tea from matching cups and always smells like eucalyptus. Yeah, not her. Now I pause. I save the link. I walk away. And before buying, I ask myself one thing. Will this item actually get used in my real life, the version with work, deadlines, school runs, and messy mornings? If the answer is not really, I let it go, because clutter doesn't just come from what we keep. It comes from what we let in without asking if it belongs. And when I do bring something new into the house, there's one rule I try to follow to make sure it doesn't quietly turn into one more thing I have to manage. It took me years to realize that I wasn't just buying things, I was adopting them. Every new item came with an invisible job to be stored, cleaned, moved around, remembered, put back. And the more things I brought in, the more little jobs I gave myself. That's when I started using one of the simplest rules. I know if something comes in, something else has to go out. Not someday, right then. Bought a new spatula, great, one of the 3 old ones with melted edges can go. Got a new t-shirt, pick the one you always skip over and donate it. It sounds small, but it's how I stopped letting stuff quietly accumulate behind my back. I used to keep things just in case, but the truth is, just in case often turns into just in the way. Now when I buy something, I ask myself, what is this replacing? And if I don't have an answer, I don't buy it yet. It keeps the balance, it keeps the drawers from exploding, and it keeps me honest. This one habit, practiced slowly and gently, has probably saved me more space and decision fatigue than any storage bin ever could. But of course, keeping clutter out is just one part. The next habit helped me stop chasing Pinterest perfection and finally made organized feel easy. I used to set up organizing systems that looked amazing for about a week. Color-coded bins, matching labels, storage hacks I saw online. But then life happened. Groceries got dumped in the wrong spot, the kids forgot which basket was for socks, and suddenly everything organized was just more complicated. What I've learned is this system only works if tired, you can still do it. If it's not something I can keep up with on a busy Tuesday night, it's too complicated. These days, I build systems that are easy to repeat, not just pretty. No lids on baskets unless absolutely necessary. Labels that make sense for my actual family, not for an aesthetic. For example, instead of pantry overflow, dry goods, I wrote snacks no one finishes on a bin. And guess what? People use it. I stopped organizing for the version of me that's had 8 hours of sleep and no laundry backlog and started organizing for the version that's running late and holding a half-eaten banana. So now when I set something up, I ask, can I still follow this when I'm grumpy busy and 1 coffee behind? If the answer is yes, it stays. And speaking of easy, the next habit is one of the most boring changes I've made. And it turned out to be one of the smartest. I used to treat sock pairing like a mini puzzle, one I never asked for. Dumping out the laundry basket, hoping I'd find the other half of that gray one with the thin stripe. Saving solo socks for weeks, thinking the missing match would turn up one day like a long-lost friend. Spoiler, it never did. Eventually, I made the easiest decision of my life. I bought 10 pairs of the exact same socks. Same color, same length, same everything. No more sorting, no more mismatched panic when I was already running late. Now I just grab 2 and go, and no one, including me, ever knows the difference. It's not about socks, really. It's about mental load. It's about removing one tiny daily decision that doesn't actually matter. And when your brain is juggling bigger things, even that small bit of friction adds up. I used to think simplicity meant sacrifice, that easy was lazy. But honestly, this one little change made my mornings smoother and my laundry days shorter. And that's more than enough for me. Next, I'll share a habit that keeps me focused when I'm bouncing around the house, starting 5 things and finishing none. Sometimes I walk into a room meaning to tidy up and somehow end up in a completely different room doing something totally unrelated. Like I'll start with the intention to fix the couch cushions. Notice something that belongs in the bathroom, put it away. See a drawer that needs organizing. And next thing I know, the living room is still a mess, and now so is the drawer. That's why I started using a quiet rule with myself, 1 corner at a time. When I enter a room, I pick a starting point, 1 corner, and I move clockwise from there. I don't allow myself to drift, wander, or follow distractions to another space. I stay in that loop until I've made it all the way around. It's simple, but it gives structure to the chaos. Even if I don't finish the whole room, I finish something. One area gets done and I can see it. That matters more than we think, especially on days when we feel scattered or behind. There's a sense of closure, even if it's just a clean side table. Focus is a form of care, and this small rhythm has helped me quiet the noise that clutter often brings. The next habit helps in a different way by helping you make decisions faster without getting stuck in the guilt loop. Some items are easy to let go of: a broken lamp, an expired bottle of lotion, the shirt you forgot you even owned. But then there are the harder ones. The sweater you haven't worn in 2 years but feel guilty about. The mug from a friend you no longer talk to. The book you might read again someday. These aren't things you love, but they still pull at you. and the indecision alone is exhausting. So here's a tool I use when I'm stuck, the 5-5-5 rule. I ask myself, will I care about this in 5 minutes, in 5 days, in 5 years? If I'm unsure whether to keep something, I pause and go through that checklist. Most of the time, the answer is no. I won't even remember that object existed 5 days from now, and in 5 years, not a chance. That little question breaks the emotional fog and gives me just enough clarity to let go. There was a scarf I kept for almost a decade because I used to love it. Every time I decluttered, it moved from one drawer to another. Then one day I stood there, held it up, and thought, 5 years from now, do I even want to carry this with me? The answer was finally clear. It went in the donate bag and I haven't missed it since. This isn't about becoming cold or detached. It's about honoring your energy, your space, and the version of you you're growing into, not the one you're trying to let go of. Of course, once you start seeing your space differently, your decisions shift too, and sometimes that shift begins with something as simple as how you play a game. Have you ever stood in front of a shelf and just froze? Like you're playing real-life Tetris, but the pieces don't quite fit, and everything feels one item away from toppling over? This little mindset shift helped me a lot. And yes, it comes from the old video game. In Tetris, you don't control what pieces come next. You just rotate and place them the best you can, one move at a time. That's exactly how I started looking at my home. Instead of trying to finish a room, I just asked, what's the next right fit? That meant creating small drop zones near the door instead of overhauling the whole entryway. Adding a shallow tray to catch clutter on the counter instead of buying a whole new shelf. It's about noticing patterns where mess tends to gather what always ends up out of place, and then shaping your space around how you actually live, not how you want to live on Pinterest. There's a corner in our kitchen that used to drive me crazy. No matter how often I cleaned it, it became a dumping ground. Then I added a slim, wall-mounted file holder and labeled it, "To deal with later." Mail receipts, school notices, they all go there now. It's not glamorous, but it works. That's Tetris thinking, not perfect, just intentional. And here's something I didn't expect Tetris also taught me to leave space. Not every corner needs to be filled. Not every drawer needs a purpose. Negative space isn't wasteful, it's functional. It gives you room to shift, adjust, and breathe. And speaking of breathing, the next habit is one I use every evening to help the house reset itself without needing a full-on clean. There's this feeling at the end of the day when the house is quiet, the dishes are mostly done, and you finally sit down, but instead of relaxing your eyes, keep scanning all the little messes piling up for tomorrow. A sock in the hallway, crumbs under the table, the blanket half falling off the couch. It's like the day didn't quite close. That's why I started doing tiny resets as I moved through the house. Before I leave a room, I do 1 minute of straightening. Not a full clean, just enough to return it to neutral. Plump the cushions, fold the throw, toss the sock into the laundry bin, wipe the bathroom sink after brushing teeth. It's the adult version of put your toys away before dinner, and honestly, it works. What surprised me was how much calmer my evenings started to feel. I used to save everything for one big push, all the dishes, all the tidying after I was already exhausted. Now things happen in little bits along the way, and it doesn't weigh so heavy. I don't go to bed thinking, ugh, I still need to, because most of it is already done. And the mornings, they're lighter too. I open the door to the kitchen and don't feel immediately defeated. That alone is reason enough to keep doing it. Because when your home quietly supports you instead of needing something from you, the second you wake up, it changes the tone of your whole day. And sometimes that tone begins at the front door. Every home has them, the places where clutter just gathers no matter what. The end of the kitchen counter, the chair no one sits on, that one random corner of the dining table. I used to fight them, clean them up every day, feel annoyed when they filled up again, like I was losing some invisible battle. Then I stopped fighting and started watching. I asked myself, why does this spot always attract stuff? And the answer was simple, because we didn't have a better place for those things to land. So instead of wishing it would stop happening, I gave the hot spot a roll. I put a small tray on the counter for keys and wallets, a box on the stairs for things that need to go up later, a labeled envelope for receipts on the desk. Suddenly, what used to look like chaos became contained. I also made a rule: once a week, I empty every hot spot. No judgment, no guilt, just a quick reset, like clearing a mental inbox, because that's what visual clutter really is, right? A bunch of tiny to-dos you haven't processed yet. Some people declutter by fighting their habits. I've learned to declutter by respecting mine. If something always ends up in the same place, maybe that's not a problem. Maybe that's a pattern asking for structure. Now, instead of dreading these messy corners, I work with them. I build around our real habits, not my fantasy of how we should live. And speaking of habits, there's one final shift that's made everything else easier, not because it changes your house, but because it changes your pace. Sometimes clutter doesn't start at home, it starts in our heads. The list of things we think we need, the tabs open on our phones, the mental urge to click add to cart when the day feels long and messy and we just want something to feel new. I used to shop like it was a way to reset, like a new water bottle or a prettier laundry basket would make life fall into place. And sometimes it helped briefly, but more often it just added another thing to manage, another object to find space for, another decision to make. Now, when I feel that impulse rise, I pause. I don't ban myself from buying, I just delay. I save the link. I close the tab. I ask, would I still want this in 3 days, even if no one else saw me use it? That question alone filters out about 80% of what used to end up in my home. Sometimes I even keep a wish list, but wait list in my notes app. If something stays on that list for weeks and still feels useful, I consider it. But most things quietly drop off, and I forget I even wanted them. This isn't about guilt. It's about clarity, because every item we bring home takes up more than space. It takes up time, energy, and attention. And when you start protecting those things, your time, your energy, your peace, your home begins to reflect that back to you. Not as a showroom, but as a place that fits the life you actually live. That's it. 12 small habits that have helped me live in a home that feels calmer, clearer, and more supportive of the real life I'm living, not the ideal one I used to chase. None of these changes were dramatic. Most of them felt almost too simple at first. But practiced gently, they've reshaped how I move through my day and how my home holds me through it. If you've been feeling like your space is working against you, I hope at least one of these habits gave you a starting point. Something to try this week, not someday. And if you want more support in creating a home that feels light on the eyes and even lighter on the mind, I've made a video that walks through how I declutter one zone at a time without burning out halfway through. It's linked right here if you want to keep going. And of course, if this video helped you breathe a little deeper today, I'd love for you to like, share, or subscribe. Not for the numbers, but because I truly believe more women deserve a home that gives more than it takes, starting with you.